This is question 23 from book 1 based on the 2020 NEC, and this is electricaltime.com. When you are burying service conductors 1000 volts or less in the earth, what is the minimum burial depth for the conductors in which you must install a warning ribbon, and how many inches above the conductors is the minimum in which the warning ribbon must be placed? So we've got A, and that is service conductors 12 inches deep and a warning ribbon 12 inches above the conductors. B, service conductors 14 inches deep and a warning ribbon 12 inches above the conductors. C, service conductors 18 inches deep and a warning ribbon 12 inches above the conductors. Or D, service conductors 24 inches deep and a warning ribbon 12 inches above the conductor. And the answer to this question. Hi, this is Steve with electricaltime.com. Before we get back to our video, just want to show you our website real quick. It's called electricaltime.com, and we got some really cool things here. We've got online electrical classes, so go check them out. And also, we got free videos. So go back to our website each week and, check out our free videos. All right, now back to this video. Is going to be C, and that's service conductors 18 inches deep and a warning ribbon 12 inches above the conductors. All right, so let's see how we solved this problem. So the first thing we're going to look at is what article are we talking about, and that's going to be Article 300, and that is the general requirements for wiring methods and materials, and that's within Chapter 3, wiring methods and materials. And then we look at Part 1, and that's general requirements in Article 300. Then we take a look at 300.5, underground installations. Then we look at 300.5D, protection from damage. And then we find 300.5D3, service conductors. And let's read that together in our code book. And again, we're reading 300.5D3, service conductors. And it says, underground service conductors that are not encased in concrete and that are buried 18 inches or more below grade shall have their location identified by a warning ribbon that is placed in the trench at least 12 inches above the underground installation. All right, so let's see what we got in our book here. And here we say 300.5D3 says, if the underground service conductors are not encased in concrete and where the conductors are buried at least 18 inches, then we have to place a warning ribbon at least 12 inches above the conductors we buried. All right, so now here's the next part that kind of got me, and I had to do some research on this. You might be wondering about how thick the concrete has to be, and we find that useful information is not in 300.5D3. It's actually located in table 300.5 note 2, and I'm just going to highlight that over here. And it says that the concrete envelope has to be at least 2 inches thick. So actually I'm going to go to that table and I am going to look at note number 2 and I'm going to read it to you. And it says here, raceways approved for burial only where concrete encased shall require concrete envelope not less than 2 inches thick. All right, so I'm just wondering, if I have a conductor or a cable that's 2 inches, in height or wide, and I'm only putting 2 inches of concrete, then basically I'm going to see the, maybe see the top of that cable or conductor. But my interpretation, at least, and maybe I'm wrong, they're talking about this concrete envelope over here. So here's where I start my interpretation. So my interpretation is that the concrete envelope had to be at least 2 inches thick in all directions from the surface of the conductor or cable. Therefore, if a conductor is 2 inches thick, and it's also going to be 2 inches high, if it's a round cable, then there would be at least 2 inches of concrete under the conductor, on top of the conductors, and on the sides too. And this is, in my opinion, would create the envelope around the conductor or cable. And if you got any questions about this, you can certainly ask your electrical inspector for further clarification. So again, the answer to this is going to be C, and that's 18 inches deep and 12 inches above, and code reference 300.5D3.